All right. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Okay. Over here.
Whoever speaks English has to interpret for everybody.
Right. Somebody has to speak English besides us.
Not a problem.
All of them.
Is there anybody that speaks English?
Yes,
Nobody.
somebody.
Everybody.
Absolutely nobody. It's Turkish.
Well.
Sorry. Can I ask you the first question? Why did you decide to do this operation?
We've been thinking. The press thing, you mean?
No.
The album.
The album.
Yeah, we've been thinking about doing a live album for years, and finally we felt we had enough material for a good record. Some things came which were lost, and that's why we've done it.
Danish television program that we did turned up about a year ago. We had no idea it was in existence. And hopefully you'll be able to see one of those cuts. Love Me Two Times was made into a video. Love Me Two Times on the album, and Texas Radio and the Big Beat comes from the Danish TV show. And we had a lot of lost tapes that finally turned up also about 8 months ago. And after listening to the tapes, we said, well, a lot of people have been asking us, that, is there any more? Is there any more material? And we're always saying, no, there's no more material. And people would constantly say, when are you going to release something? Give us a live album. Give us anything. I said, okay, we're going to make you one more live album, and it's going to be all original material, new stuff that has never been recorded, never been on record by the Doors before.
Also, there's been so many bootlegs that are poor quality, you know. We wanted to put out something that was good quality so people won't have to buy these bootlegs.
Right, really good sound.
Why didn't you do it before?
Because we didn't have enough good material, and we didn't want to put something out that was not good sound.
And we didn't want to duplicate anything on the first live album.
Yeah, and there's no rush. No, we got a lot of time, you know. Here it is, you know, come out 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Well, it came out now, you know. We had an American Prayer in 1978, and now 5 years later, there's another Doors album. You know, who knows? 5 years from now, what there'll be.
People will send us.
Right, we might find some live concerts that we did in Rome. I don't know.
If you wonder what would have been thinking Jim of this track.
Oh,
I think he'd love it.
Oh, he's great. He's great on the tracks. Jim is terrific. He'd love this album.
I mean, you can feel him. His singing in Gloria has such enthusiasm.
I mean, when we put this together, we had to find the tracks that had the best vocals, right? The best Jim on them. And, you know, if John or Ray or myself hit a bad note or something, well, that's too bad, you know. We had to leave it there. But Jim had to be perfect.
There is some difference from Absolutely Live and this record and what?
Every song. Every song is different.
From the sound.
What do you think?
Yeah. Well, the sound is today. We took the tracks were recorded at the same time as Absolutely Live, but the recording equipment when we made Absolutely Live was not as good as today's recording equipment. So we had 8 tracks, sing tracks. And Paul Rothschild, a wonderful producer, did everything you can do to, the organ was on one track. All right, make that organ sound really good. So that's why it sounds as good. The equipment is better today.
This is not the 5th, the 5th, and the 6th side of Absolutely Live. It's a new record.
Right.
Yes.
Would you mind to tell me something about your recent involvement? I mean, I would like to ask Ray, what about your last album? What about the X production? And I would like to ask Robby, that's obscure, answering casual. Then I'm very curious to know why.
This record.
Well, the Acid Casualty was a friend of mine named Harold Bronson put it together and most of it. And I played on a couple of cuts, you know.
Are you an asset casualty?
Yes,
Good enough. Yeah, well, it's close as you can get. I'm up against him here.
With this guy. Name of over there.
Oh. I don't know. I met this guy in Los Angeles. And
That's it?
he has a record
There you
company named Rhino Records.
Yeah.
He does some
Very,
good.
very weird.
It is a weird. It started off to be a record store. He sold all kinds of weird, off-the-wall kind of records. And finally, he decided to start, making records and selling them in his stores.
So nothing to do with the
Go ahead and
super group idea. So you didn't want to make a super group.
Oh no, nothing like that. It was just mostly local people from Los Angeles. That
Well,
played on the record.
Well, it is.
There was a group at the time called the Rhinoceros.
Good.
An electric record. Did you ever hear that?
Well,
Pretty good group.
so Carmina Burana, X. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll get all of this. We'll get to it.
Back in the past. You remember
Oh, well, wait a minute.
first record?
No. Let's let everyone sort of ask questions, and we'll get to all of those. That's more than we can do right now. Yeah.
he wanted to know about X.
Right.
Or Milan.
And then we'll talk about X here. X.
Anyway, the Californians.
X in California and Los Angeles. X is the best band in Los Angeles and maybe the best band in America right now. We made 4 albums together, and they have a new album out now. The new album is called More Fun in the New World,
That's before.
number 4. And you definitely ought to, if you haven't heard Los Angeles, you definitely should get the album in Los Angeles. It's on Slash Records, and the new record is on Warner Bros. Elektra, WIA. And X is just a very strong, very hard, poetic band. John and Exene are poets, very much like Jim Morrison singing about Los Angeles. And the music is very strong, very hard driving rock and roll. Not at all like the Doors, but they're singing about, in a way, the same things that Jim Morrison was singing about. They're singing about L.A. and the dark side of Los Angeles, not the Beach Boys, not Jackson Browne, Linda Ronstadt, but instead perhaps the dark reality of Los Angeles. And hopefully X is going to be here in Europe and probably, if all goes well, playing right here at this very club in Milan in January or February of next year. And I just did an album with Philip Glass as a producer. The album's called Carmina Burana, and it's a Carl Orff composition. I think everyone knows Carmina Burana by Carl Orff, and that was an electronic rock and roll synthesizer version of what Carl Orff originally set out to do. Renegade monks from the 12th, 13th century wrote the words.
Jacking.
Carl Orff wrote the music, and Ray Manzarek did the interpretation of it. And I hope Carl Orff likes it. I think he'd be very happy with it. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but
You can ask Jim.
maybe he can talk to Jim Morrison and find out if Jim likes Absolutely Loud or Alive She Cried, and if Carl Orff likes Carmina Burana. I think we're fine.
And what about your relationship with Philip Glass?
Philip was the producer on the album, and Philip is Philip's a producer, and he's a fabulous person, and just couldn't be better to work with. Wonderful musician, and
Not even together.
well, there will be something in the future. Yeah, we're going to get together sometime in January to begin work on the new album, and we'll do some co-compositions. We're going to do I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do yet. He has some ideas, I have some ideas. We're going to get together in January in New York and see what happens. Put it all together.
And what about you three together again? Playing something new?
Well, right now we don't have any plans to play together as the Doors, but you know, it's possible in the future we might do something instrumentally or for a movie soundtrack, maybe something like that.
Excuse me. What book do you prefer about a Doors story?
Which stories do we like?
Which book do we?
Yeah,
Which book?
about Doors story.
Ah, okay.
Which is more near to the truth.
Which book?
More near at the truth.
Nearer to the truth.
Okay, I would say the new book that's out, the new picture book, the illustrated history of the Doors, is perhaps the best Doors book that's out now, because the illustrated history of the Doors it's writings from the time. It's journalists, very much like yourselves, who were there in 1967, 68, 69, 1970. The actual people who wrote about the Doors: Goldstein, Richard Meltzer, Digby Deal. Lots of good people wrote very interesting articles about the Doors, and they are in the illustrated history, along with photographs that are of the times. So I think that's the book.
You get a feel for the time.
Yeah.
Those music was used in movies, Apocalypse Now,
Apocalypse Now.
American Graffiti Part 2, in which there was Light My Fire, if I remember well.
Whoops.
No. Is it American Graffiti Part 2? Is Light My
It
Fire
was
in
more
there?
American Graffiti.
Yes, I think it is.
Is it? Yeah, Apocalypse Now, for sure, yeah.
What do you think of the use of the music outdoors in areas like movies? Francis Ford Coppola, I read that said Doors music was in 77 the sound of Vietnam.
Yeah, 1967, right. It was. The Doors were the most played band in Vietnam. All the Americans were over there, and all the soldiers. Yes, they were over in Vietnam, and they were getting high. You know, they were smoking marijuana and putting on their Doors songs.
They were vicariously trying to be at the Beat Love-ins and concerts happening in the States, you know, made them feel,
Right.
Home and a part of it.
Yeah, good point. They were involved. These poor guys were involved in this war that had nothing to do with anything. I don't know what the point of that war was, and there were all these Americans over there fighting, killing. Flamethrowers, bazookas, blowing up the Vietnamese. And in America at the same time, we were having love-ins. We were having parties, big, huge outdoor parties in which people would all get together and dance and sing and have a good time and have a festival. And these poor guys were over in Vietnam killing Oriental people. And they felt terrible. So they would listen to Doors songs to try to get into that feeling of what it was like back in America. In the
But why?
States.
Why was the secret button of the band in that dance? It was so different from any kind of band. I remember I was 18 and heard him tell the people, "Hello, I love you."
Uh-huh.
It was a kind of electric shock, you know. I can
Good.
explain.
Yes.
Give you an idea.
I know what you're talking about. Right. Well, the Doors were different. The whole point of the Doors music was to get in touch with the electricity within your body. Was to contact. You know, we have electricity running through our body. That's what we are. The brain sends out electrical waves. You know, it's electricity operating in this liquid environment. Our bodies are 75-80% liquid, and electricity is going through you. And we attempted to tap into that electricity, to kind of get into the brains, to get into the heart, to get into the spirit of people. And
Kind of philosophy.
and it is a philosophy, yes. Philosophy. It's a philosophy of the body, a philosophy of the flesh. We tried to be more than just entertainment. We didn't want to necessarily put on a good show for you. We become one with you, to make love to you on a psychic level, a philosophical, a psychological level. And that was Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison was the shaman, Dionysus.
Sorry, 12 years after, What is Jim Morrison for you? It's a great friend, so it's a souvenir. Is there a useness or is again a great business?
Is there what? You?
It's
Useness, really
a
to
great
do.
business.
You, without net, sorry. Your youth.
Yeah, there he is. Definitely a great friend, you know, a pal, a buddy, a guy that we hung around with, a guy that we made music with, a guy that we made love to. The Doors would get on stage, get into the recording studio, and we'd all make love to each other. It's probably one of the only ways that men can get together and make love in a wholesome way. It doesn't have anything to do with homosexuality. It had to do with psychological, being alive, being human beings on this planet. We would get together and make love. And that love would be our music that we would create. And I think we all miss Jim Morrison very much. We wish he was alive, you know. Too bad he's not here with us. If he was here with us, we'd be up on stage. We'd be making music for you, you know. And then we'd all get together and have some drinks afterwards. Jim Morrison was a fabulous human being, great person, very exciting, very dynamic. The devil himself.
But he was a holy man.
Oh yeah, definitely. He was in touch with the same thing. That I don't want to, you know, say that he was a messiah. People have said he's a messiah. He's not a messiah. He was Dionysus. We're all Dionysus. We all have the spirit within us. And Jim Morrison was tapping into the same spirit of freedom that you have, that I have, that we all have. He represented freedom. I think that's why the young people today are picking Jim Morrison. He represents freedom. He's the freedom man. He was not going to be restricted by religion, by society, by politics, by economics. He was going to break free from all of that.
This is the myth of self-destruction.
Is he what?
A myth of self-destruction, like Jimmy, like Dennis, or not?
I don't think so. I think I think he was out there living so far on the edge that he probably found no way to come back. You know, he was so intoxicated. He showed us how to do it. You know, you could do it the way Morrison did it. I can do it the way Morrison did it. Morrison had to actually do it, and it killed him. Unfortunately, it killed him. On the other hand, no one here gets out alive. You're going to die. I'm going to die. We're all going to die. He died at 27, but he had such a full life that, so what? You know, the idea of life is to live it intensely and to live it as fully as you can. And who cares if you die at 27 or you die at 87? It doesn't matter. It's how much experience you have in your life, you know? And did you tap into the universe for one brief moment? One line that I love, Morrison's, "Oh, great creator of being, grant us one more hour to perform our art and perfect our lives." And that's what he was trying to do. Just let me perform my art. Let me sing my songs for you. Let me take my life to perfection.
What do you think as a band when people come to you from Paris, to America, and said, Jimmy's dead? Have you believed it?
Yeah, bullshit. I didn't believe it.
Then what have you decided to make the future best? After the first shock.
Yeah. Well, we first got the phone call. I got a phone on Saturday morning, and somebody said, Jim Morrison is dead. And I said, bullshit. Jim Morrison had died a half dozen times before. He died in a car crash. He died falling out of a window. He got hit by a car on Sunset Boulevard. I heard a whole bunch of stories about Jim Morrison is dead. And we didn't believe it. Nobody believed it. And Bill Siddons, this guy who worked for us, said, well, this time I think it's serious. And I think we all sort of said the same thing. Fine, go to Paris, find out. You know, I'm not going to go to Paris on the fact that Jim Morrison is dead. John, just talked to him. Did you talk to him, a little while before that?
Yeah, about a month before. He wanted to know how L.A. Woman was doing. I said, this is great. He expressed interest about doing another record. Sounded okay.
And then to hear that he was dead, well, I don't believe it. Nobody believes it. Then on Monday morning, Bill Siddons called and we put a coffin in the ground. Jim Morrison is dead and gone. And we all went into shock. It was terrible. You know, it
You
was
never
like,
seen
no. We didn't see the body. Nobody saw the body that I know of.
So what do you think about it? After so many years?
Oh, he's dead. You know, I think he's dead.
What kinds of problem did he have with law back home?
We
Law.
Yes, right. He had plenty of problems, lots of problems. Miami, he got busted in Miami. He got busted in New Haven. He was arrested on stage. The police came to him on stage and just grabbed him and took him off stage and said, "You've gone too far. Stop."
Jim's father was an admiral
Yeah,
in the
right.
United States Navy. Four-star.
Four-star, right.
It's almost the highest admiral you can be. So he liked to test authority.
Funny.
Maybe because of his father, I don't know.
I never met him. He didn't know us. We didn't know
he
him.
would
He didn't know
cheer,
us.
he would test policemen even off stage a lot of times, like you probably read in the book about, and that's true. I don't know why, but it's crazy. But it happened on stage a couple of times too. And eventually, after Miami, what happened was every time we'd play, there would be a lot of police would come to the shows, and we felt very oppressed at these shows, and finally we stopped playing because
Yeah. So,
Look, this is the single with the charts of the week that Light on Fire claimed at #1.
Ooh, what a collector's item.
Yes, yes.
Lucky
What
for
do you
you.
remember of that week? The week that Light on Fire often sang in Hungary.
I remember.
Impression that you remember? Or not?
I remember driving down the Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Dorothy and I were in the car, and we hit past the Sunset Strip, and we hit Sunset Boulevard. It kind of curves around. There's lots of trees, and the DJ said, "And here is the Doors and the #1 song in America, Light My Fire." And it came on the radio, and I was
Your organ.
yeah, we were in heaven. It was everything we worked for, you know, everything we set out to do. We set out to become the #1 band in America. That's what we wanted to do.
You beat the Windy by the
Yes, by the association,
I was made to
right,
love it by Stevie Wonder.
right, and
It's been difficult enough.
and then knocked off the Beatles too. The Beatles had
They had
Sergeant Pepper or something at the time. I don't know, whatever it was. Anyway, we replaced the Beatles at #1 in the charts.
And why the shadow pale too?
Today, the
great.
top of the charts are another kind of music. What do you think about?
It's not another kind of music. Music is music. And Doors music is Doors music. If the people buy Doors music, that means they like it. You know, when you lay out your, however many lira it takes to buy a record, 5,000 lira. All right, bonk, give me a record. That means you.
Yes, but you think there's no difference from Flash Dance or Light My Fire?
Question. No, of course. It all has to do with what's inside of you.
Yeah.
The 60s were a different time. We were able to, that's what was wonderful about the 60s. You were able to make the music that you wanted to make. You didn't have to try to make commercial music. If you made music that was really good in the 60s, it had the possibilities of going to the top of the charts. Today, you've got to make music like
Another moment of
Flashdance.
music today, maybe.
I
There
think
is
so.
no
It's not the same feeling. It's not people aren't the same inside. Although people are the same, people don't change. But there's something about music today that doesn't. People are too concerned with making a hit record. You can't be concerned with making a hit record, with creating a hit. You have to make music. That's what you do. Just play your music. If it's a hit, fine. If it's not a hit, so what? The act of making music is the important thing. Not
new
whether.
generation. You think you will like this kind of music?
I think so. It sounds like today's music. I think it's as exciting today as it was when it was recorded in the 60s. And I think young people will definitely hear in Morrison somebody like themselves, somebody looking for freedom, someone breaking out, breaking through, break on through to the other side. That's what the Doors' message is all about.
I was surprised when you will touch me and then tell all the people or the records of the time introduced
The horns, yes, right.
I find that it's a sound that the last year Ada Ment created some time with the hard drive rock and roll, but with horns. And then you made a remake of Hello, I Love You. So kind of cool. How have you had an idea so anticipating the times, like it was to mix folk rock like was your music with rhythm and blues horns? What do you think of the way that Adam Ant has made Hello, I Love You?
Yeah, what do you think of Adam Ant's Hello, I Love You?
Well, I think it's okay, but I don't think it captured the Doors' intensity.
You played it on stage with him.
I played with him on stage when we did Hello, I Love You. Yeah, with Adam in Los Angeles.
Played the song with him.
Yeah, it was good when we did it.
I interviewed him.
I wish they
He told me that Jim Morrison is one of his greatest heroes.
I believe it, yes. yes.
What about that kind of music?
Well, how do we get into horns? We're old blues guys, you know. We, Robby and I and John, all three of us used to listen to all kinds of black music, rhythm and blues, jazz, Miles Davis, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding. That was all part of our upbringing, part of our...
Sound snacks.
Sure, exactly, yeah.
I think we should give some other people a chance. Yeah.
Okay, sure, go ahead. Yeah, let's take it around.
To do Robby Krieger about this show we did with Joseph Cotten and David Johansen. Walked around.
Can I have a cigarette?
Oh,
To tell us something about it.
well, that was the Ventures. Ventures was a surf group from the United States, and they were popular in the early 60s. And they called me up and they were making a film of a video in New York, and they wanted a bunch of guitar players to come in and sit in with them. So there was Scott Baxter, I think, went, and who else was there? A lot of guitar players came. It was pretty fun. It's a good thing. I think it'll be out in about a month or so on a video.
Excuse me. How do you remember the albums you recorded without Jim? Did you like now? Did you like and do you like now? Still now?
Yeah, I think there were some good songs on albums. You know, I think that the band lacked
The Mosquito.
Mosquito.
The Mosquito, don't forget, let's not forget the Mosquito. One of our favorite songs.
But without Jim, I think we lacked the direction that we needed. You know, and that's why we stopped after 2 albums. But we were pretty happy with them, though.
Yeah,
Some
good albums. I think they're real good albums.
I like the first one better.
Ships with Sails, Tightrope Ride are real good songs, as is The Mosquito.
What do you think could have been the Doors live without Jim there?
We did some live gigs without Jim. It was okay, but it was. It wasn't like it, with Jim. It was different.
The Doors were 4 people that came together in Venice, California, by the way. And Venice, California was an attempt to be like Venice, Italy. We were supposed to have canals and houses on canals and water, and instead they discovered oil. And instead of putting up houses, they put up oil wells alongside the canals. And there, right on the beach in Venice, California, the Doors were formed. And we were 4 guys who came together to make some music together. And those 4 people were like a diamond, like 4 sides of a diamond. You take any point away from that diamond, and you don't have a diamond anymore. You have a triangle. So without Jim Morrison, we lost, one of the points of our diamond, and it just wasn't the same anymore. We thought it was impossible to continue without him, as good as the albums were.
Yes, did Iggy Pop sing or not?
Well, no, we didn't ask him to sing. We talked about Iggy Pop. We talked about Iggy Pop. We talked about Van Morrison. We talked about Joe Cocker. We talked about Mick Jagger, but he had a band. So we talked about a lot of different people joining the band, but no matter who would join the band, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be Jim Morrison, you know. It wouldn't have that mystical quality. It wouldn't be Dionysus, you know. We had Dionysus for a while. He danced with us, you know. Dionysus was in front of the Doors, and how do you replace him?
What do you think
How
about
about this guy over here? He hasn't had a chance.
Go ahead. Questions?
Why after many years, the sound of your old song are so big, have so big energy? Because only this year, no, the last year or before, many come si dice, young people ask your
As important today as it was back in 1968.
How much did you contribute to the arrangement and composition together with Jim? Each of you, I mean.
Well, we all arranged the songs together.
That was the diamond.
Yeah.
Jim wrote the words. He didn't play an instrument, so he didn't know about chord changes, but he had some melodies, a lot of good melodies. So we arranged it all together.
Yeah.
Ray and Robby would figure out the chords, and I'd say, oh, let's do a 4/4. And we just hashed it out, you know. Sometimes we feel like it needed to modulate or go to a bridge. That would be suggested.
And that's why most of the songs say written by the Doors, even though Morrison may have written the words, or I wrote the words on a lot of the songs too.
Mm-hmm. I see. But a matter of, let's say, basement rehearsals or some other way to
No, lots of
develop
rehearsal.
them.
Lots of rehearsal.
But also a lot of the songs evolved on the stage. We
Yeah.
play it in
Clubs, early days.
In the early days at the London Fog, at the Whiskey A Go-Go, we had to play 3 or 4 sets a night. We had a lot of time to fill. Originally, the end was a song that was only 3 minutes long. It was a short little love song. Jim was saying goodbye to a girlfriend. I'll never see your face again. This is the end.
Yeah.
Well, when we played 4 sets a night, it's a lot of time to play, so we just started fooling around and improvising and expanding and expanding and expanding the song. So from 3 minutes, it expanded to 11 minutes, and that all happened on stage in front of an audience. Or we rehearse a lot, too. You know. Doors all worked together. Morrison was the lead singer, but I was the lead organ player.
Yeah.
He's the lead drummer, and he's the lead guitar player. You know, without any one of the Doors wouldn't have happened. Morrison was the center. Morrison was the madman, and, you know, he was Dionysus. But we were all in that state of madness. We all joined him, and we all went crazy together. And without any one of us, there wouldn't have been Doors music.
Still on this subject, if you will forgive me, just one on the same subject. Did it ever happen that you went into a studio and started working on an album right on the spot?
No. No, you have to have your songs together first. You can't go into the recording studio not knowing what you're going to do. If you go into the recording studio like that, then you're going to spend. I've heard stories that the Eagles spent $1 million making a record.
Which was not so successful.
Now and then there was a song that was written in the studio. I think Hello, I Love You. Oh, no.
Yeah?
No, we'd worked on Hello, I Love You for a long time, and then it didn't come together until the studio.
What do you think about the words of Doors songs today? There is the same strength, the same.
True. Yes. The words, the lyrics are universal. It's universal, timeless. It has nothing to do with today. It has nothing to do with 1968. It has nothing to do with 1928. Jim Morrison's words have to do with being alive on this planet. This planet is spinning through the universe. You know, we're all on a globe, and this globe is just going around the sun. And that's how we viewed music. We viewed music from a perspective of outer space, looking back on this planet. And here we are on this planet. Make your music, make your words. And Morrison is timeless.
And what the
There's so many other people.
About your show, the other show with the soundtrack.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I just finished Sunday night. I closed a one-man show in Los Angeles where I was acting. First half a Sam Shepard play called Tongues, second half called Skins, which I wrote. That was that. So I'm really interested in acting, and I've been doing it for several years.
What kind of
What kind of show? A one-man acting show. Tongues by Sam Shepard is written for an actor and a drummer, and I play both parts. And the other one, semi-autobiographical. There's a couple of videos, and people liked it. I liked it. I liked them liking it.
Excellent.
You know,
Maybe.
Arrivati oggi alle 2 e non hanno ancora mangiato, se potete friggere un pochino.
you know there was a project about a movie about Jim Morrison, and the actor must be John Travolta. They said.
I know he said, yes, right. He wants to play.
What did you think when you know this news?
No. No, the Doors are not going to be associated with a John Travolta movie. John Travolta wants to play Jim Morrison. There's a dozen actors in Hollywood who would like to Jim Morrison, but I don't think anybody at the moment is quite right. After we finish up in Europe and finish taking care of some business that we have to do, are going to get back together in Los Angeles and begin writing the script for the Jim Morrison movie. I don't know when that's going to come out. That might be the next thing that comes out. It might not be for 5 years, but at some point down the line, we are going to make Jim Morrison, The Doors. We're going to make the Doors movie.
And you will be involved in production.
Yes, right. We will oversee it, and someone else will play Jim, someone will play me, someone will play John, someone will play Robby, and it'll be a bunch of young people from America who are, we don't know who they are. You don't know them, I don't know. Who knows? It'll be some new actor. Hopefully we can find a new James Dean to play Jim Morrison. That's what we're looking for.
John John ha detto che quelli che non hanno fatto domande per favore di fare, cioè che vuole che anche gli altri almeno facciano una domanda in modo che tutti possano dare.
How old are you?
What did you
You three. How old are you?
44.
44?
37. Oh.
37? And you, sir? How old are you, sir?
How old am I?
Yes.
I will be 39 in a month.
Think about the video, the new revolution of the videos in the
I love video. I love MTV. We have MTV in Los Angeles. MTV is wonderful. Rock and roll videos are great. I love them. Yeah.
And about the video of Love Me Two Times.
Yeah.
What's the
Love Me Two Times comes from a Danish television show, and it's cut together with some stills from the illustrated history. So it's a combination of a live performance and still photographs from the illustrated history of the Doors.
Once Lurid said that the first record that you bought is like a first love. You can't remember. Sometimes it marks your career. I don't know if it's true or not. I want to ask to the members of the band if
No, but our producer, Paul Rothschild.
Anybody else?
they didn't know.
Right now.
I can't even remember what.
You can know.
What was it?
It was an Italian rock and roll
Okay.
band, you know.
Here's a
One
question.
question also.
I like to know something about the important keyboards nowadays. Now, if you like.
Well, keyboards and synthesizers are,
Later, I don't know.
they're very important. I'm happy as a keyboard player that synthesizers are as important as they are. I don't know if I had any influence on that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It doesn't really matter. But I almost feel sorry for drummers today because drummers, the drum machine, anybody can drum machine,
No, that's not quite.
but they can't play it. They can't play them as well as a drummer could play it. I think drummers should play drum machines. What do you think?
Yeah, well, you know, I just got these electronic drums, Simmons, which is, it's a duplication of a drum set, so the drummer is still involved. But while I was down there, I took a look at the limb,
Yeah.
and I realized that there are all these buttons. It says hi-hat, crash. I thought, if a keyboard player starts poking those, he's not really going to know. You know, so, you know, I guess the modern drummer will go to the studio with a little box.
Good, good.
Are you proud, sir?
You know, I mean,
Yeah, pass it around.
About the administration of Mr. Reagan.
Are we going to talk politics now? Shall we talk mysticism or politics?
In Italy, I ride many vehicles about Carmina Burana. But information, I was born a project because it's very strange.
Yeah, you heard that?
What is that? It's strange. Yes, I've heard it's strange. People are strange, right? Strange days have found us.
Why do you think it's strange?
For a language, many.
Right.
Ray's a strange guy.
Right, it's in Latin. I like Carmina Burana just for the fact of the power of the voices. When I first heard it, I didn't care they were singing in Latin. If I want to know what the lyrics are saying, I went to read an English translation of the lyrics. And when I read the translation, I thought it was fantastic. Renegade monks, Jim Morrison. Morrison poetry written by monks of the 12th, 13th, 14th century in southern Germany. I love the music. I love the sound of the voices. I love the power of the human voice singing out. And if they're singing out in Latin or English or German or Italian, who cares? The communication from the vibrations of a human being singing words, that's the important thing. And I think we've done a very nice job with it. I loved it. I love it myself. I'm very happy with it.
You didn't answer to his question.
Politics? We didn't talk politics. A few more Doors questions maybe, or we'll talk
Are you
politics.
afraid about the bomb?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I think we all are. I don't care for Reagan's politics at all. I didn't vote for Ronald Reagan. I voted for Jimmy Carter, and I'd rather have had Carter. But when Carter ran against Ford, I voted for Gerald Ford. So Reagan is an old man who is trying to show his potency. He doesn't want it known that he's an old man and can't ejaculate anymore. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Ronald Reagan's politics are due to his sexual impotency.
Why don't you raise to the hand?
The Doors are against the power again today.
Exactly.
Always
fighting that kind of thing. Yeah, sure.
The character of the
Exactly. Yes.
Carmina Burana was part of the soundtrack Excalibur by John.
Excalibur, yes, by John Boorman. Yes. Right.
Did you like the film?
Yeah, good movie. Yeah, right. And Carmina Burana is in there just for that section where the horses are riding, the knights are riding through the forest. Right. Same thing.
And in the album, have you used the Fairlight?
No, we didn't use a Fairlight. We used an Oberheim. We used a Prophet. We used a Moog synthesizer. We used the Harp Odyssey. And we also used a emulator, an instrument called the emulator. That's a beauty.
Portable Fairlight. Do you still like pizza?
No. Not really. No, the synthesizers are so much better now that there's no need to play a Vox or a Farfisa or any of it, you know. Ultimately, there's nothing like a grand piano, though. You know, the grand piano, an acoustic piano that's where it is, right in that piano. Synthesizers are great for making sounds, but for actually getting into playing your music, a piano is the best thing of all.
That's it. I think that's it, kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. Nice to be here.